Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's video, we're going to talk about how New York City is completely ruined. So guys, as you know, Eric Adams had admitted to New York City being destroyed or will be destroyed by these immigrants that are coming here to the city. So New York City is receiving 10,000 illegal immigrants a month. That is an absorbent amount of illegal immigrants, and they don't know where to put any of them at this point. So the city is going to have a budget, or a deficit, of $12 billion because of this problem. Now, I mentioned on the Angry Truth channel, I talked about how Eric Adams admitted to this destroying the city. Well, it gets deeper than that, because now he's talking about it financially ruining the city. As he phrases it, a financial tsunami is headed towards New York City. Meaning, guys, that New York City is already toast, and the rest of the city hasn't realized it, right? So you have him admitting to illegals destroying the city because so many are coming in. They are spending more money than they have on this crisis. They're in fact giving money away to these people, illegal immigrants, and I'm not going to call them migrants. So the city is toast. Now, he talked about a financial tsunami, and what the financial tsunami hitting New York City means is that they're going to have they're going to have services, or city services rather, shut down. Now, they always start at the bottom and then they work their way up. So at the bottom, the lowest on the totem pole, if you will, would be mental health services. Then it's child services. Then it's like senior services and so on and so forth. Then it keeps going up to the more important services. So it starts from important to least, and they start at the least important services. Now, you can argue that they're all important. Probably so. But in this particular case, they start at the bottom and they work their way up. Now, Eric Adams also said that the city has never seen this kind of problem before, and they will probably be in way worse shape than the city's ever seen. He's talking about financially. Now, guys, when you have this problem of illegal immigrants coming to the city, 10,000 a month, when you don't have them, when you don't have places to put them, they'll be sleeping in tents come this winter. Can't wait for that. That's going to be an awesome shit show. You can't put them in hotels. You were asking places to put them up. You were even going to pay for these places to put them up, churches, rec centers, and things like that. A lot of those places didn't bite. Some places did. They don't want the mess. They don't want the bullshit that's coming along with it. We watched hotels throughout the city become destroyed because these people don't know how to act. You have illegal immigrants buying mopeds, somehow have the money to buy mopeds so that they can work, but they're not, because the Uber Eats and Grubhub and Postmate delivery service is saturated with delivery drivers. So now these people are undoubtedly going to start turning to crime at some point. Now, I heard that the whole hooker thing with the migrants, it's up, but nobody wants to admit to that. And I'm hearing that through cops. I'm not hearing that officially in the news, though the news is definitely going to cover it up or not report it. The spousal abuse is through the roof with these people, so that's driving crime up here in the city because, well, it's being reported as spousal abuse, so that's up because of them. But now, guys, these people are out of work. They're getting desperate. They're starting to sleep in the streets. A lot of them don't want to sleep in the hotels because there's so much thievery in the hotel and crime in the hotel. They don't want to deal with that shit, so now they're out in the street. Well, those thieves are going to end up out in the street as well. They're going to start breaking into cars. They're going to start breaking into homes. They're going to start getting desperate at some point, especially come wintertime. Now, back to the financial side. The city, guys, cut NYPD's overtime. So they are no longer giving them overtime. I don't know when that's going to start, but that's definitely a bad thing. They have problems right now getting officers to do overtime. You cut their overtime, why would they work? So there's a little more to that, and I don't know how they're going to work that problem out. But you told me there's no overtime, I'm going home. Write me the fuck up. There's no way that I'm working for, and now they can have them work for comp time. And the problem with comp time is that you don't get that time back in money. You get that as time off. So if you work 8 hours on comp, you can get 8 hours off down the line, in the future. Some guys will hold on to all of their comp time, and as they're about to retire, use up all of their comp time to extend their time, if that makes sense. But now you're telling officers they can't get paid overtime, they got to take it in comp? Because that's the only other thing I'm thinking of. So, of course, guys, they're going to have manpower issues now, and you're going to drive more officers to leave the job, which means less cops in the street, more crime because of the illegal immigrants. The reason why they're cutting the overtime is because of the illegal immigrants and the $12 billion deficit that's created because of them. Now, this $12 billion is over the next 2 to 3 years. Nonetheless, it's a problem. And they're trying to get ahead of it now by cutting city services. And Adams also states that every city agency is going to have to make a cut. So that's right now. And here's the problem. We saw this before in the city, at least with firefighters. They saw this before. They're not going to have any probie classes in for the next who knows how long. That just means that there are a lot of guys leaving the fire department now. They're retiring, they're getting hurt, and so they're out the door. Those guys that are getting hurt, they're out the door. Then you got guys that are aging out, they're out the door. And you got guys that are done with the city and their bullshit, they're out the door as well. That's going to create a deficit of firefighters. That's going to drive up the overtime for them. Now, right now, there's no talk of their overtime being cut, because if there is, all hell's going to break loose. If you tell sanitation their overtime is cut, all hell's going to break loose. If you tell corrections their overtime is cut, all hell is going to break loose. Now, all city services are about to get cut. All city agencies are going to have to start making cuts. Where do you think it's going to happen to the city? It's going to completely fall apart. One side of me cannot wait to see that, because as we all said before, every last conservative, Republican, or a Democrat with a brain has said that Democrats were going to destroy this city once again. Started with de Blasio, it's going to end with Adams. And Adams is not going to take any kind of blame for this. He's blaming Biden, actually, for this whole mess. He's like, well, Biden created this mess. Fucko. You sat there and said, I'm going to welcome all of these people with open arms. He said that last year. Now that it's biting him in the dick, he's pushing the blame on Biden. Granted, the Biden administration should help out and send some money. They're not. They're sending it to the Ukraine because they probably want to see New York City fall for whatever reason. New York City, guys, is going to turn into everyone's worst nightmare that's still here. A lot of us are going to leave. After looking at what's happening now and watching the drug epidemic, guys, the drug epidemic here is growing. It's not as bad as Philly, but it's getting fucking close. You have crime that's going unchecked. You have road rage incidents that are at an all-time high in New York City. New York City's done. Kaput. It's no longer going to exist. Tourism is going to start driving. It's going to start lessening, if you will. I'm going to say about another year or so, we're going to start seeing a decline in tourism. There is a decline now because of COVID. It never really got back to its post-COVID numbers, but it's going to come down even more, costing the city more money. There are venues that are not going to come here anymore because of all the crime. The city's done. The crime's going to be out of control. I'm 1,000%. I'm going to wind up wearing an eye patch. You're going to call me Snake Plissken to fucking escape from this fucking shithole. Now, again, I'm already having shit in play after watching that overtime shit get called. That changed everything because I know what the fuck that means. I know exactly what that fucking means. So, New York City is done, and for New York City to come back, it's going to take a few years. It's going to take another Giuliani or maybe Bloomberg to get this shit back and running, up and running again. That's another 10, 20 years. Anyway, guys, we shall see how bad this is going to get, but I am going to do a walk around, a live stream walk around very soon to show you how bad the city is and how lawless the city is, especially here in Washington Heights. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.